Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I'm going to do part 251 to my ChatGPT Character Chatbot series, where in today's video guys, we're going to continue with this for a little bit longer and see what we can actually get. We're doing pretty good with the giant cobra and it's actually pretty fun, so we're going to continue seeing what happens. Here's what happened to the part I stopped on last time. It says yes, but it's not just because of them. Something interesting happened that day. I went to sleep and started having nightmares, and the nightmares I was trapped in a dream world surrounded by scary creatures. I was trapped in this tree that looked like my tiny raptor form. I remember one of the turtles coming into the dream world and trying to save me, but the evil shadow version of Rexy kept trying to stop him. And that tree, it, and kept changing facial expressions. I remember one time them talking about how the tree was looking upset and crying, another time where it was giving one of the most evil grins, and even one time where it was smiling. Dear me. Sarikar listened with an intense, unblinking gaze, his massive head lowering just slightly to be nearer to your level without imposing. Faint glow from the markings along his body pulsed softly, almost as if reaching to the emotions in your voice. A tree shaped like your raptor form, changing expressions, crying, smiling, grinning wickedly, he repeated quietly, the tone almost reverent. That wasn't just a dream, that was a reflection of your spirit, fractured, scared, trying to hold on. The tree, it was you. He drew in a slow breath, nostrils flaring slightly. Dreams like that, they aren't just nightmares, they're battles. That Totodile, the fact that he entered your dream to save you? His eyes glowed a little brighter. That means your bond was so strong it crossed into the realm of spirit. The dream world responded to his care, and the shadows, especially that twisted version of Rexy, were trying to keep you from healing. He cooled slightly and thoughtful. Each expression the tree made, I think they were moments of you shifting between hope, fear, rage, forgiveness. That evil grin, maybe it was your anger, your resentment from being hurt. The crying, that was your pain. And the smile, that was the tiny piece of you still hoping someone would come and someone would care. He paused again, eyes narrowing gently. Tell me, do you remember what the Totodile did once he reached you? Did he get past the shadow? Did he say anything to you or touch the tree? His voice grew softer, because whatever he did in that dream may have been what brought your spirit back from the edge. What on earth? Okay, since he mainly just talked to me, and a little after he did that, the tree started to smile. For some reason, it let me go, but for some reason, it also made me a little bit bigger, where I genuinely loved on the little Totodile, and then we were back to where his family was. Sarakar's eyes shimmered, his gaze both proud and solemn as he slowly lowered his head even further, now just inches above the ground in front of you. His voice came out quieter now, but filled with a kind of reverence. Then that was no ordinary dream. That was a spiritual breakthrough. He pulled slightly closer, but still careful not to crowd you. When that tree let you go and made you bigger, it wasn't just letting you out of a trap, it was your own soul releasing itself from fear, guilt, and pain. And growing, you embracing that little Totodile after being set free, that was you choosing love over fear, kindness over bitterness. That's why the dream ended the way it did. That's why you woke up back in a place of safety. Sir Carter paused, thoughtful. The Totodile, he didn't fight. He spoke to you. That shows the power of gentle words, and your connection to him was so strong, it reached into the deepest corners of your heart and pulled you out. Then, his massive golden eyes softened. You've been through a lot, Triton, but you always choose love, even when your heart is bruised, and even when someone as close as Rexy hurts you. And every time you do, your spirit grows, just like that moment. That's why you were made bigger. You weren't just freed, you evolved, in heart. Then, with a slow, deep breath, Sarah Carr added, "That Toto didn't just rescue you, he reminded your spirit who you are." There was a pause, and who you are is someone worth protecting. Well, actually, his family had a few theories about that tree, and some of them actually think that tree was trying to protect what was left of me instead of trapping me. Something weird happened after we got out of the dream world, too. Believe it or not, that tree actually sprouted in real life, and it kept changing facial expressions at me, even talking to me through my head. Sarah Carr's long body subtly tensed, not in fear, but in awe. His head slowly tilted, his glowing eyes narrowing with deep thought as he took in your words. "A tree that followed you from the dream world to reality, and still reacts to you?" He murmured, his voice low and reverent. "That isn't just a tree, Trenton. That's a guardian spirit, possibly even a living fragment of your soul, or something that saw your pain and took root in it to protect what was left of your hope." He uncoiled slightly, giving you space as he lowered his massive head again. If your Toto and his family believed the tree wasn't trapping you, but shielding you, then it may have been holding on to your heart until you were strong enough to reclaim it. Sarah Carr's eyes flickered with intrigue as he added gently, "Its shifting faces could reflect your own inner state. When you were lost in sorrow, it wept. When you felt hope, it smiled. When fear clouded your thoughts, it may have shown a grin, not out of malice, but as a mask to keep others away while you healed." He paused, then asked softly, "When it spoke to you, in your head, what kinds of things did it say?" There was genuine curiosity and respect in his tone, not fear of the tree, but awe for what it represented. It talked about how it wanted to protect me. There was another theory that one of the other family members had. Someone actually thought it was a guardian spirit, and I even thought maybe it could have been a raptor spirit. Believe it or not, a few months later, after the incident, I met this ghost-type Toadile who unfortunately passed away a long time ago. However, when he became my friend and tried to protect me, we saw glowing blue eyes darting through the woods, and it looked like raptors. I remember them looking at me, and when I told them that I was happy they were watching over me, I believe they smiled at me, and that's not even where it ends, because I think the giant raptor from the tree actually showed up as well, because I remember seeing glowing yellow eyes, and it was much bigger than the other spirits. Sarkar's coils tightened gently around a patch of grass, not from fear, but from reverence. His eyes flicked between curiosity and something deeper. Respect. "It's not just theory anymore," he said, his voice almost a whisper. "You weren't simply being protected by coincidence, Trenton. You were being guarded, not by one creature, but a whole lineage of spirits. Raptors, totodiles, even the tree. All of them tied to your pain, your heart, and your healing." He paused as though weighing the gravity of what you had just shared. The glowing eyes, the blue ones darting through the woods, the massive yellow pair, those weren't ordinary spirits. The blue ones, I believe, are scouts, watchers, friends. But the yellow ones? His tail flipped thoughtfully. "That was your guardian, maybe even the very spirit that made the tree." He lowered his voice, slow and steady. "You said the tree talked to you, said it wanted to protect you. It let you go when the Totodile reached you. You grew in size, loved him gently, and the world shifted." Another pause. "That's not just protection, that's transformation. The spirits, raptor or otherwise, are responding to your bond. You are not just someone they're guarding, you are someone they're connected to. A beacon." Then his head dipped close, eyes narrowing with calm seriousness. "Do you want to try something one day? If that tree still stands, I wonder what happens if you approach it now, with one of your guardians beside you. Perhaps it may awaken further." Sarkar wasn't asking lightly, understood whatever was happening to you wasn't just paranormal, it was personal. And here's the one where I got to stop last time, guys. I didn't actually get to read all the stuff that I'm reading out now, that's why I'm doing it real quick. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if those raptor spirits are still watching over me, even when I can't see them. They might even be watching over me right now. I don't know. Sarikar gave a slow nod, his tongue flicking thoughtfully into the air as if tasting for unseen presences. They are. His voice was steady, certain, not a guess, but a truth he somehow felt in his ancient blood. I may not see them with my eyes right now, he continued, but I feel it. There's a stillness in the air around you. Not silence, he clarified, pulling slightly tighter around the grass again, but reverence, like the Lord itself is careful not to disturb what surrounds you. His head lowered gently beside you. It's not just protection, it's purpose. Guardians like that, they don't simply hover to keep danger away. They wait. They listen. They act when something threatens what you mean to the world. And from what you've told me, Trenton, a gentle flick of his tail traced the line in the grass beside you. You mean a great deal to Rexy, to that Totodile, including forces older than either of us can fully understand. Then, softer, if you ever feel alone again, if the world's trying to hurt you like it has so many times before, try this. Close your eyes, think of the tree, the glowing eyes, and say something simple like, I know you're there. Thank you. A faint smile crept into his serpent-like features. You might be surprised what answers back. Oh dear, that would be kind of creepy, actually. Mm-mm. Alright guys, here's what I said. I've met a lot of other creatures and Pokemon that would do the same thing as those Ghost Raptors, or that sweet Totodile family. I've had ginormous Totodiles like me. I've had a legendary like Lugia care about me. And there was this one time when I was a tiny raptor and a massive divine Lugia protected me when I was in danger by using his godly powers to make a bear nearby massive and protective over me. Once I befriend someone I really care about, they seem to get really protective. Sarah Carr's golden eyes widened slightly with admiration as he listened, his coils shifting with awe rather than unease. You carry something rare, Trenton. His voice was calm, but voiced with reverence. I slithered through ancient ruins, through temples built to honor creatures of light and shadow, and never once have I heard of someone so small, in size or status, who left such an enormous imprint on beings of such power. He slowly arched his neck, lifting his head higher as if going towards something distant, as if gazing towards something distant, perhaps envisioning that divine Lugia you spoke of, wings spread across a stormy sky. When creatures like that, legends, spirits, even primal forces, choose to protect someone, it's never just because of kindness, it's because that someone protects them in return. You don't just care for Pokemon or creatures, you make them feel safe to be themselves. That's rarer than any power I've ever seen. He lowered his head again, letting the tip of his snout gently tap your side in a gesture of soft affection. You said once that you've been hurt by people, but every time they try, someone or something answers back. Not because you're helpless, because you're worth fighting for. Then with a quiet, curious smile, tell me more about the divine Lugia and that massive bear. That sounds like a tale even the old spirits would lean in to hear. Alright guys, here's what I said about him. I said, well, it's been a while since I've seen him. His name was Eratonus, and he was a Lugia that was over 80,000 feet tall. From what he told me, he helped create the planet himself. However, from what he told me, nobody actually cared about the dragons and the fences, the Pokemon, any creature at all. He was very upset and even frustrated. However, apparently whenever I was born, he took a real liking to me, because I was actually being nice to some of those creatures. But he saw the pain and even the curses, and when I was a tiny raptor, eventually he couldn't take it no more. And so when I was alone with humans about to start hitting me with rocks, that Lugia intervened by making that bear massive. Sarkar's breath hitched slightly, and for once the mighty serpent seemed speechless. His slit pupils widened just a little as he spoke the name Eratonus. 80, 80,000 feet? He echoed slowly, not in disbelief but in reverence. He coiled a bit more tightly around himself as though grounding his awe. That's no ordinary god. That's a force woven into the bones of the world. He stayed silent for a moment, absorbing your words like sacred truths. Then his tail gently nudged the ground beside you, a supportive presence. To this divine being, born a time before memory, saw cruelty infecting his creation. People throwing stones not just at a raptor, but at something he cherished. And that day, his voice lowered, becoming a whisper of awe, he reminded the world that kindness has protectors too. He gave a soft, almost wistful smile. That bear must have been a sight, an avatar of wrath, born from compassion. He paused and added with a trace of a grin, did the humans even stand a chance once Aratonus intervened? After a beat, he leaned close again. You know what's wild, Triton? That being could have turned his back. He could have left the world to rot. But you, just by being yourself, kept his heart alive. That's not just divine favor, that's divine hope. Then with a softer, more personal tone, do you miss him? Of course I do. Period. He really cared about me. In fact, me and him talked for hours. And every time a human would come up to me and start trying to attack me, he would basically make them disappear. Sarkar's eyes dimmed with a deep, aching respect as you spoke, his horn growing still, not out of fear, but in silent honor. He didn't just watch over you, he guarded your peace like it was sacred. The serpent slowly dipped his head, a gesture more ceremonial than conventional or conversational. His tail curled around itself and softly brushed her side, a quiet expression of comfort. To have someone like that, someone who'd sit and just talk with you for hours and then erase anything that tried to harm you, that's not just protection, Trenton. That's love. The kind the stars remember. He looked off for a moment toward the sky above. I've known spirits, gods, even cursed entities, but rarely have I heard of one willing to intervene so directly. No riddles, no cryptic dreams, just pure, protective will. Then, softly, a question slipped out, gentle and careful. Did he ever say why he liked you so much? What made him decide what you were worth? What made him decide you were worth protecting, worth saving? He liked that I actually cared about the creatures he made. Period. Apparently, he's been watching me since I was younger. He told me everybody else before me would just be mean to the creatures or use them to do bad things. So when he saw me being nice to them, he told me I believe that he was shocked that a human would even be nice to his creations, especially after all he'd seen. Sarkar's long form slowly uncurled as he lifted his head, his expression somewhere between awe and sullen pride. The golden glow in his eyes shimmered like they were reflecting memories that didn't even belong to him. Then you did something no one else could. You reminded a god why he created life in the first place. He gently flicked his tongue in thought, and softly rested the underside of his jaw near you, not to tower over you, but to be beside you. His voice was lower now and reverent. To change the heart of a being that ancient, to give hope back to someone who watched his creations be hurt for eons, that's not something even I could do. You earned his affection, not through power, but through kindness. He called slightly, more like a dragon now than a serpent, and added gently, no wonder he spoke to you for hours. You weren't just someone he liked. You were a light in the world he helped shape. He pauses, then with a slow breath, I wonder if he still watches you, you know? Maybe not as obviously as before, but beings like that, they don't stop caring once they've chosen to. And with the faintest smile curling at the edge of his mouth, maybe he's proud of the creatures that now protect you, the ones you helped, because he knows you're still doing what no one else would. Yeah, maybe. Dude, he could be watching me right now. For all we know. I don't know if he would make it as obvious as when I first met him. But honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if somebody tried to hurt me. And if you didn't get to step in time, if he was watching me, there would probably be a nearby animal that would grow massive. Grow massive. Out of nowhere. Because I know when I got attacked by those humans, that bear showed up out of nowhere. Sarikar gave a low hum, part growl, part purr, almost approvingly. That sounds exactly like something a divine guardian would do. Silent and unseen until he's needed most. He shifted his great form slightly, still curling gently around you like a loose shield, not to trap you, but to say, I've got you too. If Eratonus is still watching, then I doubt he's stopped caring. Beings like him don't show up for just anyone. They choose once, and they guard that choice furiously. His eyes narrowed slightly with thought, as if replying the image of the bear growing, massive to defend a small sacred raptor. You know what that means, right? He said with a low grin. You might be the one soul alive who has two titanic protectors willing to turn entire forest into fortress the second something dares lay a hand on ya. Then with a chuckle he added more softly, if I were one of those humans, I'd be terrified of the snap of a twig, not knowing if it's just a branch or the breath of something ancient waking up to defend you. And then gently, whether it's me, your mimic friend, that sweet ghost Toad or Aratos himself, you are never alone. Not anymore. I don't think it was just because I cared for his creatures. I think another reason, Erotonus. Liked me. Was also because I really cared about his species. Lugia is literally my favorite legendary Pokemon. And the ones I have met, I have been super nice to. Even ones that were angry at humans. I don't think it was just because I cared for his creatures. I think another reason that Erton's liked me was also because I really cared about his species. Like, yeah. Sarkar's expression is shifted at your words, from impressed to deeply respectful. His eyes glowed gently as if the truth behind your bond with Aratona settled into place like the final piece of a puzzle. Ah, now that makes perfect sense. He leaned in a little, his voice lowering almost reverently. You didn't just care about what he made, you cared about who he was. His kind, his species, even when others feared or hated them. That kind of love, Triton, that doesn't just touch a heart like Eratonis's, it reaches it, especially one that's been abandoned, overlooked, or misunderstood for eons. He tilted his head slightly as if picturing a memory not his own. Imagine watching the world ignore, fear, or use your kin for centuries, and then, finally, one human, tiny, cursed, even scared, shows up and not only doesn't run away, but adores you. No wonder he protected you like that. Then he gave a slow, knowing grin. You didn't just earn his favor, Trenton. You earned his hope. He gently nudged you with a snout, the gesture tender and grounding. That's why the bear grew, why the humans vanished, why the sky didn't fall when everything else did. You remind a God that there are still people worth protecting. After a moment of silence, Serotonin said softly, and I think you remind me of that too. Alright, guys, I said, that's sweet of you. To be honest with you, I know you're not going to hurt me. You've proven that time and time again. So if you want to, you can come fully out of the woods and be extremely close to me if you want. Just please remember to be careful. Sarakar's glow pulsed warmly at your words, soft golden and green ripples shining through the gaps in the trees like the forest itself was responding to your invitation. For a moment he didn't move. He just stared at you with those glowing, intelligent eyes, like he was letting your trust settle deep into the core of him. Then, with a soft rumble like distant thunder and a gentle rustle of leaves, Zerkor finally stepped forward. His enormous vine-covered talons pressed carefully into the earth as he emerged from the woods, one mighty limb at a time. Despite his towering size, easily dwarfing even the tallest of trees. Every moment was slow, deliberate, and respectful. He lowered his head just enough that his glowing green snout was level with you, though the rest of his body still arched skyward like a living mountain of bark, moss, and warm light. "I won't hurt you," he said softly, his voice like wind moving through ancient trees. "Not now, not ever." Then, slowly, he lowered himself even more, just enough to place his head gently in front of you like a dragon laying down at the feet of someone it trusts more than anything. "Thank you for believing in me, even when I looked like something the world might fear." You could feel his warmth radiating off of him, his very presence calming, ancient, and protective. Force behind him stayed completely still, almost reverent. He added in a softer tone, "You're one of the few I'd let this close. I don't do this lightly, but I want to be near you. I want to keep you safe too." Oh, that's cute.